Today we're talking about the top 5 affordable small towns in Utah. Hi, I'm Becca Summers, your Utah realtor with Seasons Real Estate, and today we're talking about everything Utah and affordable. So a few caveats before I jump into the cities is we are just talking about the Wasatch Front, which is the mountains along Salt Lake and Utah County. So we're just going to focus on those. There's other areas in Davis and Weber County, but we want to kind of keep it within about an hour of Salt Lake. So going from north to south, because when it comes to Utah, the value and the cost expense does go from the closer to downtown, the more expensive, the further out you get, the more affordable it gets. I'm sure it's like that with every major city. So I have 2 that are in Salt Lake County and I have 3 that are in Utah County. So the first one is West Valley on affordable. And how I came up with the list was if it was 25% under the average for the 2 counties, and West Valley came up on the list. West Valley is an area that it is pretty close to Salt Lake. It's only about 10 miles to downtown Salt Lake in West Valley, and everything in there is in the process of being rebuilt and changed. It does have a little bit of a negative connotation from locals as being an area that has a higher crime rate. But if you compare the crime rate to other cities and other areas, it's actually not bad. There's many times when we're showing homes to out-of-state buyers and they come to West Valley, they love the home, they're very interested in it, and they're like, why does this have that negative connotation? Utah doesn't have a massive crime rate, and so where we have a higher crime rate is in West Valley, and it does have that negative connotation. But there are neighborhoods and pockets that are great, and you can get a better bang for your buck and just be 10 miles away from downtown if you want to live in West Valley. So in terms of housing in West Valley, because it is closer to Salt Lake, was one of the first suburbs that was developed. So you're going to have some older homes that were built in the 1950s up to about the 1970s. Again, newer construction pockets. There's not a ton of new construction happening in West Valley because it is fairly built out. So if you see a new construction home, it probably was torn down and rebuilt, but you'll see anything from the 1950s up until now. The next one on my list in terms of affordability of small towns in Utah is West Jordan. So in terms of a location, it's about 13 miles away from downtown, and it is on the west side of the county. The interesting thing about West Jordan is it is massive. It is the biggest in terms of land size of the cities in Salt Lake County. It goes all the way from I-15 clear out to Mountain View corridor, so it's very long and narrow, and there's all options of housing in West Jordan. You have houses that were built in the 1920s closer to I-15, and then as you work your way west, it gets newer and more affordable, and you get even new construction when we're talking about Mountain View corridor. So West Jordan is a great affordable option, especially if you need to be in Salt Lake Valley, because it's close to everything you need, close to the airport, close to shopping, but it hits our list as being one of the more affordable cities in Salt Lake County. So now we're going to move to the Utah County cities. Again, I'm moving north to south, and in Utah County, the furthest north, most affordable city is going to be Eagle Mountain. Eagle Mountain is located in Utah County, and it is as far west as you can go. There's one tiny city a little further west, but Eagle Mountain is on the other side of the mountain range that the lake touches. It's about a half hour away from the freeway in terms of driving time. They are working on that east to west traffic, but you're going to be on a lot of service streets, and there's not a freeway yet. There is plans to have a freeway that will take you from I-15 through Saratoga and attach to Eagle Mountain, so commuting will be easier, but right now it's about 38 miles from downtown Salt Lake. So close again to Salt Lake, but a little bit longer driving distance. The most unique thing or interesting thing about Eagle Mountain is it is newer in terms of development. The original establishment of Eagle Mountain was developed in the mid-90s, and there is a lot of new construction. So you get more bang for your buck. Again, it's about 25% less than the average for Utah and Salt Lake County, and you're going to get a newer home, and you're not going to have as many homes that need renovations like plumbing, sewer, stuff like that. So Eagle Mountain is a great one for bang for your buck, and they are very developmental friendly. They are in the process of continuing to develop, and that is where Facebook has built their data center. They just barely got their first grocery store, so instead of having to live in Eagle Mountain and drive into town, it has its own grocery store, and they're starting to get restaurants and shopping. So it's in that mix of growing and developing, but it is one of the fastest growing cities in Utah County. Number 4 on the list, now we're going a little further south, is Payson. So Payson is almost the furthest south city in Utah County, and they are also very developmental friendly. In terms of distance, it is just right off the freeway, so it's pretty easy to get to downtown Salt Lake from Payson, and it's almost the same driving time as Eagle Mountain. So when I have buyers looking for affordable, Payson and Eagle Mountain work out really well because they have about the same drive time, even though Payson is 52 miles south of Salt Lake City. But because most of the driving is on freeway, it gives you great access and opportunities. Payson is an older established city, so there are homes built in the 1900s. I grew up in a house that was built in 1888. But they also have a lot of new construction going on because they are developmental friendly. Payson is great because it is a smaller city with a lot of growth opportunity, but it does have major amenities like Walmart and grocery stores and restaurants, and it's just 10 minutes south of Spanish Fork, which has your Costco and your Home Depots. So very similar to Eagle Mountain, where it's close to another major metro, but you get a little more bang for your buck if you want to go to Payson. If you are new here, make sure you like and subscribe so you can find out everything about Utah and real estate from a local native who has been here her whole life. And number 5 on the list is Santaquin. Santaquin is the last city in Utah County, and it is 64 miles away from Salt Lake City. But it is, again, right off the freeway, so you have good distance driving time to get in and out. Santaquin is going to be more affordable than Payson, and Santaquin is a smaller town. They do have a grocery store, they have some gas stations and some restaurants, but you're gonna have to go to Payson to get to Walmart, or Spanish Fork, which is about 15 minutes away, to get Costco, Home Depot, stores like that. And if you want to go to the mall, you have to go to Provo, which is about a half hour away. So a little more rural, a little more country. Santaquin was developed in the late 90s, so you have a lot of newer construction, and then a lot of builders are building more affordable homes in Santaquin because the cost of land is cheaper. So you're going to be able to get a newer home at a better price in Santaquin, very similar to Eagle Mountain. And when I'm taking buyers shopping, those are usually, we see both cities, get a good feel for it, see what makes sense to you. So if you're thinking about relocating to Utah, please reach out. We help people go through this process of buying from thousands of miles away all the time, and we know exactly how to guide you through this process.